Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Friday, August the 28th, and you are tuned in to the number one morning political primer in the nation. That is the Savage Political Bite. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that turned on reminders and that everyone that is tuned in. I'm so glad to see you. We actually are ending our last full week in August, if you can believe it or not. So thank you, everyone, for joining this morning. It is so fantastic to see you. I am Erica Savage, the founder and host of Savage Politics and the Savage Political Bite. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. here on Facebook Live. And so I see you all are coming in right now. So I want to say thank you and good morning to you. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Priscilla. It's so very good to see each and every one of you. And I'm just going to give a couple minutes for you all to come on in. So glad to see each of you all. Y'all, we made it. We made it to Friday. And then let me kind of adjust a little bit here. I think you all know, got some new equipment. Been playing around a little bit, trying to adjust, make it clearer, make it more professional for you. So there we go. It's looking pretty good. Good morning, Aunt Carla. It's always fantastic to see you. That is my fashionable auntie, Aunt Carla. Great to see you. And thank you for everybody that's come on in. And, we could not do this without my lovely, beautiful auntie, Dr. Gloria Watson, from her summer home. So, hey, Auntie, so good to see you. Glad that you joined us. Good morning, Dietrich. Good to see you, brother. Sherelle. Listen, we are in an incredible time right now. I would highly advise each of you, we talk about breathwork here on this show, but to take it from somebody who is an expert in this field with yoga under her mastery belt, and really, really in tune with how to really live another level of quality of life. That would be my good friend and sis Sherelle Moore Tucker. Please go and check her out. You can find her on Instagram, her name Sherelle Moore Tucker, or on Facebook. But she does these classes and teaches you how to meditate, teaches you how to incorporate your faith in meditation. So please go and check out my friend Sherelle Moore Tucker. She's doing the good work that many of us need right now. So thank you. Good morning, the beautiful and incomparable Dr. Wendy Wilson. That is my big sister. Love you so much. Appreciate you and thank you for joining always, sis. Um, Absolutely. Good morning, my author friend, Felicia Nicole. Yes, how you doing, sis? Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm so ecstatic to see you. I hope that you're able to see me a little bit better than you have the past couple of days. Going to kind of work through it, get things a little bit more in focus and clearer. But I'm so glad that you joined this morning. So good to see everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, this has, can y'all believe like we'll be moving into the month of September next week? And we will. And with that, we actually have 66 days until November the 3rd, which is not an incredible amount of time considering, depending on your municipality, there are a lot of people that will begin early voting in the next couple of weeks. And even not if in the next couple of weeks, some people will begin early voting in October. So want to encourage each and every person to please, 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 whatever your voting plan is, make sure you have that locked down because absentee or mail-in ballot voting has definitely been under the attack. And we don't see that lifting anytime soon, even with having had Postmaster General Louis Joy testify before the Senate, which is more favorable for him because it's Republican led in the House. However, when we see where the power is to make change happen, the House came back on the Hill on last Saturday to pass a bill that definitely was an overwhelming vote for number one, $25 billion to be injected into the post office directly, and then to ensure that there will be no further changes to the Postal Service until next year. However, that is the House. The power is in the Senate, and Mitch McConnell is not going to even take that up for a floor vote, even though overwhelmingly in the House that bill did pass. So, having said all of that, if you've not requested your absentee ballot yet, and if there's evidence that there are still ongoing attacks with machines that will not be put back in service, those 700 machines that were taken down, there were very pointed questions asked during the House hearing. He's not putting the machines back. He said it very plainly and firmly, boasting about the 650,000 postal employees that are under his leadership, that he would not be putting those boxes back. And we know what particular neighborhoods that those postal boxes are in. He's not putting those back. And that also the sorting machines, when there were some postal workers trying to put them together, there were key pieces that were missing from out of those sorted machines that they were not able to do that. So, and additionally, the Postal Service has been warned to be very suspicious of people that actually, that means us, folks that come into the post office that are asking a lot of questions. So, all of that to say, we just don't have the real confidence, or at least I don't. I don't want to speak for you all. Don't have the real confidence that perhaps sending something through as important as a secured ballot through the mail, that it will actually reach where it needs to reach. So if you are voting by mail, if you are voting absentee, that if you have a secure mailing box, to exercise that. But I want to leapfrog and say that the first thing that I hope you all are doing. Good morning, my brother. Good morning. Good morning, my brother Ron. So good to see you. That if you are going to vote by mail, like let the option of early voting be something that you also exercise as well, because the likelihood of the lines being as incredible as they will be on November the 3rd is not as high, because usually during early voting it's not just one day. Usually it's not. Now, if in your particular municipality, if it's offered and it's only offered for one day, there could be a chance of that. But usually, for most people, that early voting is afforded to. Um, I see you're in the 1080. What's this? I see you in the 1080p this morning. I'm not sure what that means, Brenty. Maybe it's just because it's early. But let me know what you mean by that. But excuse me, what I was saying is that early voting usually may be over the span of a few days. So if you do have that option, if early voting is perhaps a week long, if there's weekend voting, please do exercise that. For the absentee and mail-in ballot piece, if you do have a secure box where you can actually place your ballot, meaning that you don't have to put it through the mail, is at a location where someone, an election official, can get right to it, then that is perfect. But voting in early and in person may just be the best route, and so that is why we've been talking about having a voting plan coming up to 66 days to November the 3rd, but actually that time has been reduced a bit when you start thinking about registration. Do you have same day registration? Do you have registration still open to vote for November 3rd? And also when you consider and think about all of the different factors, when it's the last day to request your absentee ballot. When you consider and think about all of those, of course, that makes the 66 days a little bit more short. So we want to kind of understand that it's actually less than 66 days. It's 66 days to November the 3rd, but all of the different pieces that go into registration, everything that I just named, is actually a little bit closer than 66 days. So with that, that's why we've been talking about having a voting plan, and then also having your voting outfit together. Go ahead and put that together, because you don't want to get to a place where you said, okay, I'm going to go and vote in person. You go to get a painter suit, hazmat suit, whatever have you, all of your PPE, your foot covers, um, covers for your hair, extra mask and gloves, things of that nature, and you go to the store to go and purchase those things, go on Amazon and find out those things are not available, or the delivery time is going to be a little bit longer. So all of that to say, friends, please go ahead and start putting together what you're going to wear. Like, I'm buying a jogging suit just for voting. That's it. It's just for voting. That is why I'm intentionally going to buy that particular jogging suit, so I can have that already on my person. And then additionally, all the other pieces of PPE, those things hanging up in the closet. So when it comes time to vote, the one thing, and I know I've talked about this, and I'll say it again and continue to say it, is that picking out your clothes in the morning consumes time and brain power that you really need to make other more important decisions. So, one thing you really don't want to have to be wrestling with on this really important season of voting is, what am I wearing? Did I forget something? Go ahead and put that together now, so that is not something that you have to concern yourself with. And then thirdly, out of all of that, one of the more important pieces is to please research the folks that are on the ballot. Excuse me, research the ballot, research those initiatives, referendums, whatever proposal, and then also the folks that are on the ballot. Go ahead and do that research now. That should be available on your Secretary of State's website, or you can go to Ballotpedia. There was a link that was provided in your Savage Political Bite a couple of weeks ago, and so I'll probably re-up that. Please, 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 we need everybody engaging. And there's my favorite principal. Good morning, beautiful Camille. So good to see you. So just ensure that those three pieces, your voting plan, your voting outfit, and definitely ensure that you, in fact, do have that ballot research down ballot and the top of the ticket. Please, please, please make sure that you do that. Oh, okay. Thank you, Brunton. Yeah, I thought about it after I was like 1080. Well, good. Thank you for mentioning that. And just want to say good morning to some more friends that have joined. Good morning to you. Oh, Miss Singfield, Mama Singfield, how you doing? The Singfields, they are the owners of Albany Fish Company and the Flint in Albany, Georgia. Two beautiful restaurant establishments. I've not been able to get to the Flint that opened, I believe, in the past year or so. Their son, Chef Singfield, an incredible chef. They were featured on CNN, I believe, a few months back. So check out if you want to be in the Albany, Georgia area. They've got, I know they're going to be doing some rebranding and another reopening. Please go and check out and support Albany Fish Company. It is a Black-owned business with the beautiful Black faces. So please, in fact, go and check that out. Good morning, Power Woman Sloans. Good morning to Nerd. That's my favorite girl. How you doing? So good to see you. Good morning, Scott. Very good to see you. And Deidre, what's up, sis? Hello, Donnie. Good to see you. Good morning, mom and dad. Y'all, my mom and dad, first of all, I just want to take a minute. They are super supportive. They've been like this since me and my sisters were children. And I'm just so blown away that they are still just as supportive as when we were little girls, as I am a grown lady now. So, mom and dad, love you so much. Thank you for your support. My friend, Power Woman Sloan, so good to see you. So, good to see you, sis. So, thank you, everybody, for joining. And the last couple of points I want to make. So, today is an extraordinary day, particularly in the nation's capital. Today is the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington, and that will be celebrated in the DC area today. So I don't know if anyone is in town. If you are, welcome to DC. We're so glad to have you for that particular march. I know for many of us that are in the area, some of us are participating. Some of us will be participating virtually. I will be participating virtually. But there are a lot of people that have already begun to gather early this week to your nation's capital here in Washington, D.C. And so this is going to be a march that will be available virtually. It is led by Reverend Al Sharpton and the National Action Network. And it was pretty interesting because leading up to this day, and I mentioned that there were people that had already began to come in and kind of get set up. Yesterday was last night was the last day, thank you Jesus, of the Republican National Convention, and on that day, last night rather, um, uh, Donald Trump accepted his renomination. And I must say to all of you all, it was pretty interesting on two levels. So while that was happening, there were hundreds of people, you're talking about at 9, 10 o'clock at night, that had gathered in the streets to protest. People, and I don't know how long they stayed outside, but they were definitely showing up to voice their disapproval for the person that has been holding your house, because the White House is the people's house. It does not belong to a family, it belongs to you. They were definitely protesting and being very vocal around their disgust for the occupant of the White House. And then also that the events of him, well, his accepting the renomination, excuse me, everyone, um, were happening at a very, very dire time in the nation. So let's go to COVID. We have nearly 6 million confirmed cases in this country. We have nearly 200,000 people, everybody. Just think about that. So think about that in terms of if that money were just deposited into your account right now, if 200,000 just boom, you get a notification that you have a deposit and it's $200,000. Imagine that, how that would make you feel, right? Make you feel good. It's like boom, I can do knock out this, I can do that. It would be a great feeling to have that in your account right now today. Now think about that um, on the other side of 200,000 bodies that are no longer with us. When you think about that, kind of like contrasting that, that is a significant number. And I say that because I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's just 200,000. Oh, it's only 190. That is a lot. That is a significant number of people that are no longer here with us. They're no longer with family. They have a gaping presence that they have left in their families, and the ages run from young to mature. That is a significant number of people, and um, to one of the programs that really keeps alive the people and the lives that they lived is Deadline. Don't know if you all watch that. It's on MSNBC. It runs from 4 to 6 o'clock. But the host of that show um, has been for quite some time now lifting up the lives of the people that have passed away from coronavirus. And the one person, well, the gentleman that she highlighted, Nicole Wallace highlighted on yesterday, was a black man, very healthy, in his mid 40s. He tested positive for coronavirus, had no pre existing conditions, and passed away a few days later. There are still so many elements of coronavirus that are still unclear for us. And what makes it worse is that we do have someone who definitely cares more about television, cares more about production, and cares more about those people that express fealty to him than he does the people that are dying, the people that are hurting in this hour right now. So he accepted the nomination, his renomination last night amidst that nearly 200,000 people that have passed away and millions more that are mourning collectively the 200,000 lives that are no longer with us. Then we think about these colliding crises we have, not just the public health crises, but then the economic and now the housing crises. I'm continuing to read pieces every day around this really um, um, crises around housing that we're continuing to march into without really any plan to remedy it. The eviction crisis that is becoming more and more prominent by the day when you think about the number of people that are renters, when you think about the number of people that do have mortgages and carry mortgages, that they are facing real um, they're facing losing their homes. When you think about that, and if they're renting it, it's still their home. They're facing losing that. They are also facing losing their homes because of eviction. Excuse me, because of foreclosure. And then when we think about kids and all of my fantastic friends that are educators, I love and bless each and every one of you, and that all of these educators, some of which are being forced back into schools, into very uncharted waters and dangerous environments, where you can see plainly from universities, UNC Chapel Hill, to local school districts, that when we gather, there are going to be confirmed COVID cases. And you see this not only with students, but with the educators, administrators, and let's not forget the all important support staff. You know, your teams of custodians, of um, folks that work to, you know, check in students in the morning, just all of those different bodies that really do make up the ecosystem of that a particular building, housing for education. Excuse me, everyone. Just that, those are a number of lives that are impacted, and then all of those particular people go back into their homes having been in essentially a petri dish for how many hours they're conducting in person teaching and learning. When we think about that, there are so many, and then just with Hurricane Laura that made landfall over on the Louisiana Texas coast, and has, you know, I believe 4 people have been killed, and that's just the assessment so far. The number of tornadoes that respond out of the hurricane, and then there's Marco that is still out in the ocean brewing. So they had Laura and Marco that were both brewing at the same time. There's so much, and that's just a little bit. There's so much that is happening. There are people that are hurting. FEMA has been deployed into many of these areas. However, and interestingly, it was strongly suggested that Trump move his acceptance of a nomination, excuse me, to Monday, to give pause for those folks that are hurting after this hurricane made landfall on Wednesday. And defiantly, he said, "No, I'm going to do it today because this is what's most important." It cannot be said enough that this is absolutely disgraceful, and that throughout all of what he said in the speech that he gave on last night, which I have been up for the convention, I did it for the DNC, provided analysis, and I'm doing it for the RNC and providing analysis. I'll be doing that in about another hour or so. That this is a person, it's not about even fitness because he was never fit. He's a professional bankrupt specialist. He's the king of debt. That is nothing to be proud of. He's mediocre. He's barely literate. He speaks in with kind of sight word type of language. Excuse me. He's in his particular regime has been nothing short of evil, and we've kind of spelled that out throughout all of our times together here on the Savage Political Bite, so that we would have a good idea of what's on the ballot, because it's not just this person, it is an entire regime, and it is actually swinging the pendulum to a place where we actually do have leaders who do understand and know history, and that are able to make decisions that definitely are not just based on ego or personal reward, but are decisions that are for the health and well-being of the country, which is what a public servant is. But we know that. But he doesn't care about that. Never has, never will. This is another come up for him. All of that to say, this is a person that made a speech last night with his own production style that is definitely very much so willing to ensure his own victory at all costs. So that goes back to, this is why we have to have our voting plan. This is in fact why, and we have to have our voting outfit, and we have to research that ballot, because he is cutting off the exits. He's saying, no, 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 no. You're not going to not give me this victory again, because there's definitely Russian interference has not stopped since 2016. And there are other countries that are also involved in interfering in our elections. Um, we have to. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Ron. Fascist, totalitarian. These are terms that we have to get to know, become comfortable with repeating, because this is what it's always been. And this is really just him and those enablers and sycophants, all of the people who have, again, laid fealty at the feet of their dear leader. This is not about God, because He is their God. This is, and that's just the plain truth. I do not care how many people invoke their faith. This is worship of an idol God. That is what He requires. And so it is far away from faith. So please do not blend faith in with him or anybody that supports him. It's not, it is faith in a person. And it reminds me of something that I read in the Word a few times. Um, and it did not end well. So, all of that to say, this has nothing to do with faith. This has everything to do with absolute power. And as Ron said, with fascism, authoritarianism, oligarchy, an oligarch lifestyle. And listen, look no further than Russia, because the influence of Russia on and how it is imprinted this occupant, how it is imprinted his family, is very much so plain to see in, as Dr. Carr brought up last night on Roland Martin Unfiltered, even with the design that his wife, and he called her Melanie, so I'm going to say Melanie, Melanie, the way that she designed the garden, the rose garden, which is to actually mirror um, Russia, parts of a part of Russia. So listen, the influence is there. This is not something that it is a game. It was never a game when he entered into office. This is the game plan being unfolded, and it is hurting all of us. So it is important, important, important to talk to people who are not registered to vote. Don't talk to the Jahims of the world. Do not talk to people that are posting. That's listen, Momo. Do not pay attention and talk to the Jahims of the world. Do not pay attention and talk to. There are a swell of people who are celebrities who have large platforms that were saying in 2015 and 2016 to not vote the top of the ticket. Don't pay attention to those fools, even though they may be skin folk. They are not kin folk. They are lining their pockets for wealth, or any of the sprinkling of people that, if you've watched the RNC, the Republican National Convention, that you've seen throughout the week. This is about absolute dominance and power. And there are Facebook pages that have been stood up. I get Facebook requests all the time from these out of the paper blue, out of the sky folks who have stood up Facebook pages and really, really, really want to um, connect. Basically, for these are disinformation campaign agents. Listen, I don't care what they look like. Nope. If you'll see it a lot on Twitter and those social mediums, I've seen most prevalent. So it is intentional. It's not a game. Russia targeted uh, us, black folks, intentionally in 2016. They knew how to sow discord in our communities, and they're doing it at large, but they knew how to do it, and they actually did. In fact, this is all in the Senate Intel report around Russia in the 2016 election. They wanted to be a part of the efforts to suppress our votes. So listen, there are agents, foreign agents, that do not have us in mind, and they're using the feeble-minded, feeble-minded Black folks that are actual beings to help do this. They're using troll farms, and then they're also using social media. So listen, if you come across someone's page, even a person that has a large platform that may be a celebrity and that is telling you to walk away, that they're walking away from the Democratic Party, listen, it is not about party. This is about, and I've said this and I'll continue to say this, retaining some semblance of democracy in this country. This is not a game. This is not a time to wax poetic. This is not a time to say, oh, well, what did this candidate do for me? Let me tell you, this week, this week, in these past 4 days, we have seen messaging directly in support of agendas that are not for Black life, for brown life, and for people of color, unless those particular groups that I just named join forces with the tools of really holding up this supremacist notion of we know what's best for all of you all. This is not a game. It is dangerous. There is no reason to laugh. I won't be laughing. There is nothing funny. Donald Trump has not been funny since day one. And listen, he is absolutely a clown, but more importantly, he is a dangerous, dangerous snake. And he has agents that are really doing his bidding, that are really supporting his messaging. So if you've paid attention to anything that they've said, the way that they've telegraphed from Fort McHenry in Maryland, which is right outside next to Baltimore, from a land of Confederate statues. Excuse me, from the language that they've used, the way that they have invoked terror and fear to people that they know would buy into that, to say that, oh my gosh, they use words like radical left and looters and protesters. Baby, they talking about you. They're talking about you. They come up with language that really to talk about you. They're talking about you. They've been doing this. This particular party has been doing this for years. It's there's meaning in their messaging, and if you're not assimilating to help support and allow for that this particular regime and all of their sycophants and enablers and folks that cheer them on to stand on your back to accomplish their goal of dominance and supremacy, then you're no good to them. And also if you're an ally, if you are a white ally, they have no use for you. If you're an ally to Black, brown, and people of color, we've seen this plainly, and this is the last point with Jacob Blake, our 29-year-old brother in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And shout out to my sister, Power Woman Sloan's. Wisconsin is her hometown. Is her home state. Our brother Jacob, that was shot 7 times in the back while being grabbed by the shirt. After breaking up a fight between two women. He was actually cooling the waters. And was shot 7 times in the back by cops, and then has been handcuffed to his hospital bed after having had his colon and his intestines removed and being permanently paralyzed. So think about what his family has said, his mother, his father, his sisters, the pain, the trauma they're feeling, that this was done in the presence of his children, and that these cops, these slave patrol agents have been placed on administrative leave. Of course, they're a darling of this Republican national convention. They made that known throughout the week. Their support for cops who are born out of slave patrols, but who are taxpayer funded servants but really more so act as arms and agents of really control and dominance of marginalized communities. They don't really work for communities that are marginalized. They work as a tool to really uphold the belief that those people are bad people. They're coming to hurt you. They're coming to do harm to you. When we've seen the harm that's been inflicted on our communities by cops and by those agents that really don't mean us well. So I'm saying all of that to say there is a lot of work that we have to do. There are a lot of people that we owe to do that work for. And as my mom was saying here recently during the week, and it was now I've been hearing it more and more this week, is that we actually have been in a place of complacency for such an incredible time that really now it's time for us to switch to the on button and allow for the folks like Diane Nash and Reverend Jesse Jackson and 100-year-old women that are still registering people to vote. And God bless them all. But we've got to stand up and do the work that our parents, our grandparents, and our ancestors, our wonderful, beautiful purpose ancestors did. It's time for us to really stand up, stake our place in the ground, and carry the load. They should not still be carrying the load. Now, that is my personal kind of editorial comment, but they should not be carrying the load. We are well able. We can do it. We have the technology. We have the intelligence. We could definitely move forward and do this work. So I am not having uninformed conversations. I'm not. It is of no consequence to me, and my block game is strong. So please, please, please ensure that you are registered. Please go to vote.org. Make sure you're registered. Please sign up for those different reminders that are afforded to you all. If you've not completed the census, please, please, please complete the census. Even if, in your Zoom calls, because I know that we're having a lot of them for work. I've been doing them for years with work. But now, because we're forced into this virtual environment, those Zoom calls have multiplied exponentially. So, asking you all that on your Zoom calls, bring up these topics. Bring up the topics about voter registration. And I dare you to even on your family Zoom call, particularly if you have young members of your family who are of voting age, to have everybody go to vote.org and have them check their registration. And if they're registered, just say, hey, prove it. Let me see it. Let me see it. Show me, show me, show me. I am queen of screenshot. So as a mom, okay, you are. Screenshot it and then send me the screenshot. Okay? Prove it. Let me see. Listen, this is all hands on deck. All hands on deck. So use your influence because you are an influential person. Please, please, please use your influence to really make sure that folks have, in fact, completed the census because the census will be ending early this year. That's another piece. It will be ending September 30 and not the October 31 deadline that had been requested, um, by folks within the Census Bureau. It is ending 30 days early, which is very unusual. So please, everyone, talk to people because when I talk to people, when I have these conversations, there's always one or two people that have not completed the census, and it's not because they're objecting the census. It's because there's so many different things going on that it's not top of mind. So please, please, please complete the census. Talk to people about completing the census, and talk to people about making sure that they are in fact registered to vote. Even if they just voted in primaries, make sure that they're registered to vote. And speaking of which, I want to close out on this. I keep freezing. I'm freezing up, y'all. Oh no, Priscilla said I keep freezing. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, well, listen, the enemy don't have any power over here, but I'm definitely with you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And while I'm freezing up, what's up to my cousin, my love muffin, Michelle Jones? Good to see you, sis. Thank you for joining, Miss Debbie Hurd. Always great to see you. Shania, what's up? America's 5 Minute Advocate. Appreciate you. So good to see you, sis. Y'all check out my girl. Go on Amazon. Um, Oh, okay. Robin says, okay. So Priscilla, perhaps it's the maybe it might be the Wi-Fi where you are. I'm getting from Devon. Hey Devon, good to see you. And Robin says you're not freezing. Great to see you, Robin. Robin always got a big, beautiful smile. Good to see you, sis. Thank you so much. Okay, but yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. Please do send those messages out because sometimes it could be on my end. Sometimes it could be perhaps maybe on the other side. But thank you for bringing that forward, Priscilla. I appreciate you, sis. Um, and so, yeah, all of these things are super important. And there was a last point I want to make, but I'm going to go ahead and continue to close out, because I've closed out several times and it's 8:11. Thank you, everybody, for your support on Wednesday. I hope to be able to really share in the next couple of months kind of what my excitement is for. I've have been involved in something um, in the work that I do, the firm that I work for. I work at a political consulting and data management firm. So y'all know I got like 25 jobs. Um, but there was an impressive international work that really came full circle for me um, actually this Wednesday. And so I was just overwhelmed on Wednesday. I cried most of the remainder of Wednesday. So to just be able to share with you all, me being an emissary is something that I have actually been dreaming about even before I knew it as a child. And so to see kind of the work that I've done, to see that come full circle was really such a blessing and very overwhelming for me. You do the footwork, you do the work with your pen, you do the work, on the phone. You do all of these different things. You travel, you go places that you never thought perhaps you would see. And then God says, and I got a cherry on top for you. And let me tell you, that beautiful cherry on top was just really balm for my soul. So thank you, everybody. I know I'm kind of talking around, in not very direct terms, but I'm hoping to be able to share that with you all a little bit more in depth by the end of the year. So, boom, that's right, Karan, my beautiful girl. What's going on, friends? So good to see you, sis. Thank you always for joining. And I just want to say, to the brother that says I can, I'm seeing you in 1080. This setup was made possible by none other than Karan. Thank you, Karan. Karan is getting me together, y'all. And we're gonna leave it right at that. She is getting me together. So a couple of steps in making that happen. So I have a more polished quality appearance. And I appreciate you, sister. So, everybody, thank you again for joining. It has been an incredible week. Please, please, please remember to do your breath work. I don't know if y'all can hear my stomach, but it is saying we need some breakfast. And I am going to do that. My lovely turkey bacon, my toast, um, and my fruit. I love fruit. So I got me some blackberries, I have some kiwi, and of course my lovely tangerines. So I'm going to get into that here in just a moment. But please, in fact, do your breath work. Make sure we are taking our 10 purposeful breaths in the morning. My friend, my girl, Sherelle Moore Tucker can tell you how to do this a lot better, but please do this. Take the 10 purposeful breaths in the morning, and before you retire from the evening, take those 10 purposeful breaths then. And then also, my friend, make sure that you are speaking well and powerfully over yourself. Listen, the mental work is usually the toughest work. So please, 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 please make sure that you are speaking well over yourself and powerfully first thing in the morning. Make sure that your voice, your all powerful voice, is speaking words of empowerment and healing and beauty, whatever it is that you want to say that is going to provide you with a strength unknown, do that. I will be, I'll see if I'm able to um, well, let me say this. So I'll be doing more analysis this morning as I share with you all. And then secondly, we'll be on a special program on Sunday, My Brother's Keeper. We'll definitely continue to provide links for that. So, oh, all right. Yeah, Eli. Okay, then, right. You're my West Coast friend. I believe you said you're in Pacific time. So thank you so much for joining. Really, really appreciate you, Lane. Getting that tread work in. I think it's 5 o'clock in the morning over there. Sis was on the treadmill since 4:30. Praise God. So keep doing that, girl. But please make sure that you kind of watch my page. I'll be on My Brother's Keeper Sunday at 6 o'clock. So we'll definitely be providing links for that and hope that you will join in. Thank you everybody for hanging in. It has been it's 8:16. It's been 46 minutes. Listen, I love, value, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I honor your presence. I honor your time. I'm going to do another. We'll have more fresh political bites coming out next week. So you've been getting a few rewind editions, and that is intentional because there's some points that need to kind of be brought back forward to you all. So you will get that here in just a few minutes. But listen, I honor you. I bless you. Thank you. Thank you for everybody that's sharing this broadcast. The share count is going up. I appreciate you. Listen, this is about us. This is about us making sure that we have a quality of life that our children and children's children and their children's children can appreciate. But we have to do the work now. So thank you. Please share this broadcast, particularly if it was of help to you, to other people. Please do that. And listen, we will win. We will win. We will win. Go forth. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic weekend. Drink plenty of water. Sleep well. Bless yourself. And I will see you all right back here, as my brother said, in 1080p. See you in that high resolution. And I'll bring it in focus a little bit more on Monday. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Know that I love you and bless you. And I will see you on Monday for the number one morning political primer in the nation. That's right. Throw it up, Ron. The Savage Political Bite. See you all Monday. Have a fantastic Friday and the rest of the weekend. Bye-bye.